Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Urban Review. Brought to you by the Center for Urban Youth and Family Development. It's the show that's dedicated to youth that are in and transitioning out of the foster care system. As we've been talking about over the last few episodes of our show, the Center for Urban Youth and Family Development is a 501c3 nonprofit public charity that is focused on providing and supporting youth that are in and transitioning out of the Michigan foster care system. Our focus is to provide, first of all, teaching and understanding to these young people so that they can have productive and active lives. One of the things that we focus on is our formula. First of all, we believe in manhood or womanhood, and that we sum up as character. And then we say character plus education is the leading element that will get you to the places that you want to have in life. And then you've got to have perseverance. You can't be a quitter. You've got to be able to hang in there and keep going forward. And you've got to have uplift to be able to lift someone else up as you are climbing. And then you take those four characteristics of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift, and you multiply them times three things: friendship, love, and truth. Friendship, first of all, because you have to have a good and solid network. It's not all about what you know, sometimes it's about who you know. And then next, you have to have love. And you, first of all, have to be able to love yourself. If you love yourself, you won't abuse yourself. If you love yourself, you won't let anyone else abuse you. And then last but not least, you need to know the truth. And in our opinion, the truth is the Word of God. No matter where it comes from, if you're a Christian, it comes from the Holy Bible. If you're Muslim, it comes from the Quran. If you're Jewish, it comes from the scrolls. If you're Hindu, it comes from the Tao. But it is the Word of God that will provide you with the truth. And if you take manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift and multiply them times friendship, love, and truth, you're going to get the three things that everybody wants out of life, and that's peace, happiness, and prosperity. Today, we have the pleasure of having with us a young man that is resident at our semi-independent living establishment, the Center for Urban Youth and Family Development. And that young man is Mr. Calum Gaddis. And Mr. Gaddis, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Caleb Gaddis. I go to Voyager Consortium College Prep. I also play varsity basketball at Consortium College Prep, and I'm graduating this year in 2018.
Fantastic, fantastic. Have you guys had any games yet?
Yes, we had our first game Tuesday at our school.
And what was the outcome?
We won.
All right, fantastic. Did you get any playing time?
Yeah.
All right, how'd you do?
I didn't score, but I was in mostly for defense, so I got a lot of PT, even though I shouldn't, because I injured my finger and it was dislocated. So I really shouldn't have played, but I told him I wanted to play.
Fantastic. Well, that's part of being a good athlete and a good professional player is being able to play through those injuries and be there for your team. Is there any? I think there's a big event coming up in your life in the next few days or hours. In fact, you want to share that with us?
Yeah, I turn 18 tomorrow.
Fantastic. And I know you're really looking forward to that. Do you have any big plans for your birthday?
Yes, Friday, I'm going to the movies to see a new movie, I guess.
All right.
And then Saturday, I'm going to see my grandmother. And then Sunday, I'm going to the Pistons versus Magic game.
Wow, that sounds like a good holiday birthday weekend. So that should be very exciting. Happy for you.
Thank you.
Just to share a little bit with our viewing audience, Caleb and I have a very close relationship. He's a mentee of mine, and I'm his supportive adult in his relationship as a semi-independent living and learning center resident. And earlier today, we were having a discussion about something that is going on in his life, and I thought that it would be appropriate to just spend a little time giving our viewing audience an opportunity to see what a counseling session is like. So you want to help us share with the audience what you shared with me earlier today, and we can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. So recently, well, today, I got a phone call from a girl, and she told me that she had an abortion and that I was the father. And A lot of guys in my situation would probably been happy not to have a kid at a young age, but me, it hurt me a little bit because it reminded me of like when I was born, my family gave me up, so it just didn't sit well at first.
Well, one of the things that I said to you at that time was, how did you come about this information? What made her decide to share this with you at this point?
She recently seen me with another girl, and I guess she took it. We recently broke up too, so she took that as the chance to talk to me.
Mm.
So I just talked to her, and then she just came out about it.
Okay. And had she shared any of this information with you prior? Did you know that she was pregnant? Did you know that she was thinking about having an abortion and making that decision?
Yeah, she told me she was pregnant, but I asked her like what did she want to do, and she didn't want the kid. But I didn't think she would really go out and get an abortion, and I asked her because deep down I didn't believe her, like, but I asked her for a test, and she never showed me, and then we just stopped communicating, and this was in April, and then now it's December.
Mm. And so between the months of April up to now, you really hadn't been communicating with this young lady?
Yeah, I haven't had no communication with her, but I have seen her on social media.
Okay. Well, a couple of the things that I would advise you to do, obviously, you have some emotions and some feelings that are stimulated based on your own personal experience that are impacting you. And I think the first step would be to validate the information. It seems like it was a long period of time between the time that you guys were communicating and now. And while it is definitely her right because it's her body to make the decision, obviously it would have been reasonable for her to contact you and to discuss it with you and to give you an opportunity to have some input on the decision. At the same time, I find it interesting that she would want to communicate with you now because she saw you with someone else and thought that that might be a way to keep you engaged. So I would counsel you to, first of all, put a lot of effort into finding out and verifying and validating whether or not the incident really did occur. And then if it did, that you and her might want to sit down and discuss the issue. I think that you might want to give her some support and share some empathy and concerns and let her know how it impacted you. And then another thing that you can consider for the future is taking the appropriate measures and precautions to make sure that you're not in this situation again. And at this point, I think that you might want to communicate with her, and if it's appropriate and you think you want to, we can set up some additional counseling sessions with a social worker and a licensed counselor that can give you both some advice. Okay?
All right.
All right. But thank you for coming on the show. I want you to have a great birthday. I wish I was going to that Pistons game with you, but I guess you'll have to bring me back some popcorn or something.
Yeah, probably some pop.
All right. All right. Well, it's good to have you. And next, coming up on Urban Review, we're going to have a special guest on, Mr. LaShawn Gary. And Mr. Gary is a educator in our Detroit public school system, as well as an outstanding performer. And he has a new release that's coming out and a new CD called Peace, Love, and Praise. And we will be having Mr. Gary on the show in just a few moments. Until then, and at this point, I'm going to let my friend Caleb give a few shout-outs. Go ahead, Caleb.
I would like to give a shout out to my boys on the team, Mel, Quan, those are our seniors, Eli, juniors, Dame. Shout out to our cheerleaders, because without them, we probably had the energy to get out there and get that win. And that's it. And shout out to everybody at the school.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, and we will be right back after this brief message from our sponsor, Avis Ford.
love your Avis Ford because at Avis Ford, we make it easy to get you your no money down monthly payment right over the phone. We call it Shop by Phone, and it's the best way we know to get you your payment options fast. You want leather and a sunroof? How about an upgrade to all-wheel drive? Just give us a call. Shop online, shop by phone, or visit us at Telegraph at 12 Mile. Call 1-800-SHOP-FORD.
Thank you, and welcome back to Urban Review. We're glad to have you here, and today we have a special guest with us, Mr. LaShawn Gary.
Hey,
How
brother.
you doing, my brother?
Good. How are you?
And as within each show, I always offer a little piece of inside information on each of my guests, and my piece of inside information is that LaShawn and I are fraternity brothers.
That's
We're
right.
both members of Omega Psi Phi
Omega
fraternity,
Psi Phi, Rooted
and
Brothers.
he's my great friend and brother. And I would like to start off by giving LaShawn an opportunity to tell you, the viewing audience, a little bit about himself and the work that he does as an educator.
Oh, great, okay. My name's LaShawn Gary, native of Detroit, graduate of Mackenzie High School. Attended Southern University, was part of the Human Jukebox marching band there, where I was a band captain there, so that was a special honor for me. Received my master's degree at the University of Louisville. I came back to Detroit. You mentioned education. That's one part of what I do. Music educator. I've taught in Ecorse Public Schools, Detroit Public Schools, and now I am in Southfield. And at Thompson International K through 8, and I also teach at the high school as assistant band director.
Fantastic.
And work with string and orchestra there.
All right. So you get an opportunity to interface with our youth on a regular basis, almost daily, huh?
Oh, most definitely. I tell you, in education, there was a teacher at Mackenzie High School. His name was Bobby Brown. He was a source of inspiration for me. I just saw this man give his life to the community, and that kind of inspired me. He taught us about music. He was a music teacher, and I found myself doing a lot of the same things, being able to share my gift of music with the students in hopes that they will continue to become great musicians and even get scholarships to college.
Fantastic. That's and I'm sure that your work with the youth goes beyond just the element of teaching the music, but also getting involved in their lives and providing them with some mentoring and counseling and role modeling and that kind of thing.
Yeah, all the time. I mean, with being a teacher, a lot of times you become a counselor. You're
Yeah.
like the second father. And,
Yeah.
and so a lot of times you find yourself mentoring and talking to them about just life things, and they
Yes.
feel that they can trust you as a teacher. And so oftentimes, those type of relationships take place with several teachers.
Absolutely. In fact, you had an opportunity to overhear the conversation that I was having with the young man, with Caleb, earlier. And a lot of times our young people are finding themselves in some pretty adult situations
Yeah.
and having to be able to manage those type of situations. What type of advice would you have given him based on his circumstances,
I think
situation?
pretty much what you said. A lot of times you have to have somebody you can talk to about a situation. So when they bring it up, there should be a counselor, someone that they feel comfortable with and talking to them about without them criticizing them, but where they can say, hey, this is the situation I'm faced with. Someone mentioned this, that I may be a father, and our relationship, we're young and we don't know what to do. I think first a kid or a student should have someone that they can talk to that's not going to be so judgmental, where they
Yes.
feel comfortable.
Absolutely. And we are very pleased to know also that not only are you involved in music education and involved in working with the youth, but you're also involved with the church as the director of the Oak Grove Missionary Baptist Church music.
Yeah, well, Oak Grove AME Church,
AME Church,
African
I'm
Methodist
sorry.
Episcopal Church. Yes, I've been there. I guess my first stint there was from 2001 to 2008. I worked as a director of music at Oak Grove, and then I moved to Chicago. My wife was called into ministry, and so we moved there for 5 years. And when we returned back in 2012, Oak Grove asked me to come back and be their director of music. I love that part of what I do. I feel that God blessed me with the gift and the talent, and to be able to use it for His glory is amazing. You know, I do several different things with music, but this is being a director of music is one of the most fulfilling, because you have people that come into the congregation, to a church. A lot of times they're broken and they're going through all kind of things, and a lot of times it's that music, that ministry of music. It's something that touches them, that heals them. You know, music is therapy. There's careers of music therapy now.
Absolutely.
And so it's one of those things where it touch them, and it may help bring a sense of healing to them.
Fantastic. And we have another frat brother that's the minister over there,
Oh, yeah,
Reverend
yeah.
Broomfield.
Dr. Brumfield.
He has a fantastic ministry going over there, and the work that you do helps to boost it and make it as phenomenal as it is.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you actually have some other things going on in your life with the music industry, and why don't you share a little bit about that with us?
Okay, definitely, yeah. Like I mentioned, I studied, I trained, I classically trained, lived in Louisiana, a graduate of Southern, and so I picked up jazz there. Being a native of Detroit, as R&B soul, I grew up
Right.
in Motown, so
Right.
a part of that is part of my music, and then also being in music ministry, gospel music. So I put a CD together that incorporates my life and all of the different genres of music that I've studied and I've
Wow.
encountered. When I first moved back, I'll say this, when I first moved back to Detroit, I worked as an intern under Michael Powell. Michael was best known, I think, as the producer for Anita Baker.
Okay.
And so he had a studio here. I was an intern. I started learning about production, writing, and arranging. Pajam was there. Paul Allen was there. And that was
Okay.
another. That's J. Moss Pajam. I
Right,
had an opportunity
right.
to work with them. And then I started getting into commercial advertising, writing music for commercials and jingles. I've written music for Toyota. Here in Detroit, locally, I wrote the music for Happy's Pizza commercial, which they
Wow, okay.
play all the time. And I've done stuff in that area, 365 Black Awards, where I've been director of music there, and then also the Charles H. Wright Museum. So I'm always behind the scene doing production.
Right.
But I was behind the scene, and so I said, you know, it's time for me to step out and maybe have something of my own.
Right,
and so
right.
the CD came about, putting that project together that represents all three genres of music.
Fantastic. Yeah, and that's where you came up with
Love, Peace, and
Love,
Praise.
Peace and Praise. And this is a phenomenal work. I actually have it at home, and
The
it's
theme music, too.
yeah,
man, you know?
and it's our theme music.
Yeah.
If you've been kind of popping with the intro music for our show,
Right.
then you would know that that it comes off of this CD.
Definitely.
And it's
Appreciate
phenomenal. Hey, it's a wonderful experience. And right now you have a new video that's being released. Is that correct?
Yes, one of the songs, well, two of the songs off the record, the ballroom, Detroit ballroom community have really embraced it. I've been to Firewater, I've been to Club Yesterday, Showplace, and I go into these locations and these people are dancing to my music. And so we put a music video together that's featuring pretty much all Detroiters.
Wow.
The record is called, the record that we're using is called Every Time. It's featuring singer and writer Melanie Rutherford, who writes for Kim and has a gold record with
Right.
Kim. But we recorded it at the Key Club. Thanks Caprice for allowing us to record there, and it's highlighting Detroit dancers and ballroomers and things like that. So
Fantastic.
I'm really proud of it, and it just came out. So hopefully they get a chance to. check
All
it
right.
out.
Well, I'm very excited about it, and we are going to let our viewing audience in on a little treat.
Oh,
You're going to get a chance to view Every Time.
Oh,
So,
great, great.
if you're ready, let it roll.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, every time I close my eyes, I thank the heavens for you. I thank your heavens for you. Every time it really truly blows my mind. Every time I see true. Every time, yeah. Every time I see you. I know that love isn't an easy thing. It takes dedication and truth to become supreme. what it really means. Yes, it can be difficult, especially when we know what we know. Sometimes it's critical, but neither one of us wanna let it go. See, every time I close my eyes, I thank the heavens for you. I thank the heavens for you. Every time it really truly blows my mind. How every time I see truth. Every time I see you. No, darling, it's not a fairy tale, no. It can make you feel like you're in a jail cell. But love is God's greatest language to see. 'Cause its currency only requires a simple yes between you and me. Yes, it can be difficult, especially when we know what we know. And sometimes it's critical, yeah, but neither one of us wanna let it go. See, every time I close my eyes, I thank the heavens for you. Baby, baby, baby. It really truly blows my mind. How every time I see through. Every time I see you go strong. Every time I close my eyes, I thank the heavens for you. Thank you, God, for your love. Yeah. It really truly blows my mind. Every time I every time I see you, baby.
My goodness, my brother,
you
that
like-
is,
you like
oh
that?
man, you got the whole studio
Oh,
up in here
man.
clowning.
That's great. That's great.
Oh
Want
man,
people to
I
feel
can
good,
feel it,
man.
and I
Yeah.
see the people from Detroit,
Oh, yeah.
Brother Smooth on
Right,
there.
yeah. Brother
If
Smooth.
you a party and
yeah.
you know what's going on,
Definitely.
you have touched it this time.
Oh,
my
man, I
brother.
appreciate it. I
That is
appreciate it.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
All right, well,
that's
hey,
great.
Detroit. I hope your hands are bopping and you're
Yeah.
having a good time. We will be right back with the wrap up on Urban Review.
Definitely.
But please go out. You can get it on Spotify. You can get it on Google Play.
On iTunes.
On iTunes
and Amazon.
And Amazon and any place where music is sold. The name of the CD is Love, Peace, and Praise. And you can also stop right down here at WHPR in the gift shop, and they have them right there. This CD, $15. Come on down. The address is 160 Victor Street. We'd love to have you. And guess what? I tell you what. The first two people to come in and get one, they'll be on the show. They'll be for free. We'll have two at the desk for you, but you got to stop in and you got to say Urban Review. We'll be right back.
You will love your Avis Ford because at Avis Ford, we make it easy to get you your no money down monthly payment right over the phone. We call it Shop by Phone, and it's the best way we know to get you your payment options fast. You want leather and a sunroof? How about an upgrade to all-wheel drive? Just give us a call. Shop online, shop by phone, or visit us at Telegraph at 12 Mile. Call 1-800-SHOP-FORD.
All right, as we come to the close of another episode of Urban Review, I'd just like to leave you with the same thing that I leave you with each show. First of all, I want to give you the inspiration, the same inspiration that our brother Nelson Mandela used for 27 years as he was locked up. Each day he would say, out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I think whatever gods there be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud, and under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the minutes of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. For it matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll, for I am the captain of my faith and the master of my soul. And I say to all of my young people out there that are in and transitioning out of the foster care system, and everybody that's a member of the foster care alumni, remember that when you're up against the trouble, meet it squarely face to face. Plant your feet, set your shoulders, lift your chin, and take a brace. And when the worst is bound to happen in spite of all that you can do, remember you may fail, but you may conquer. See it through. Black may be the clouds about you, and your future may seem grim, but don't let your nerve desert you. Keep yourself in fighting trim. And if the worst is bound to happen in spite of all that you can do, remember running from it will not save you. See it through. Even hope might seem but futile when with troubles you'll be set. But remember, you're simply facing what other men have met. So if you fail, fall still fighting, and don't give up whatever you do. Keep your eyes to the front, your head high to the finish, and see it through. Thank you, and we'll see you next week with Urban Review.